I definitely think it's very important to vote. You know, it's like saying, well, why bother to pray? You know, it's like a lot of it is for yourself, and and a lot of it is internal. You need to feel like you have a chance to look at all the options and choose, even if it is as depressing as the lesser of the evils. You get to still assert yourself, and it's more for yourself to feel that you are being represented. I think it's a very sad state when people, you know, it's like in that in the movie, you know, it really hit me when I was watching An Inconvenient Truth, and it had that sentence of going from denial to despair. And I realized that I've done that with voting, and I think a lot of people do that with voting, because, you know, you go from ignorance to sort of the realization of how bought and how, you know, incredibly, you know, rigged a lot of the system is, and then you go right to despair, and then you just don't make yourself part of it because you say, well, what can I do? And I think in those ways it's very, very important. It's very important to vote because it's a message to yourself that you have. And I think that if people vote, they, you know, once people become politically active and they vote, it just sort of breeds other ways of being active. So people that vote are more likely to organize a protest or more likely to raise money for a charity. I think it's one of those things. It's a message to yourself. No, I don't think so at all. I mean, there are definitely, you know, I think that that kind of thing is just more of has to do with who you're brought up by, what your family situation is, what your nature is. I mean, that stuff is way too subjective to be part of the sex wars, you know. So I think that both can be very democratic or very none, you know. No, I think that nothing is good for everyone. That's the whole problem that we're facing in the world, is that people, for a long, long time, I think the reason why we are where we are, just in our situation of the human history, like the amount of wars we've had and the amount of, you know, pain and suffering that, you know, different nations inflicted on other nations, and even civil wars and wars with the world, with nature and the environment, is because people are after that one thing that is good for everybody, because they think that there is such a thing, and there isn't. And so, you know, democracy has its victims, just like a lot of other things. It's just, I think that as far as the systems that we've tried out, it's there is no perfect democracy, I think, anywhere, but it's closer to get to a perfect democracy than to like perfect socialism or communism, as we've seen. I mean, at least people come closer to a true democracy than any of those things. But it has its victims, and I think that we shouldn't just settle on one way of being. People should keep searching for the right way, and look into history and look into a lot of, you know, just how even just, you know, we're so condescending to the rest of nature. We don't look at, you know, other animals and plants and see how they live in harmony. And, you know, I think there's other ways than just democracy, but I think the democratic way is safer as far as all of the human, you know, other structures are. Climate change, I don't know. I mean, I really have no answer for that, I think, because it's very hard to know what, if anything, can solve it. Again, like I said, I don't believe in revolutions, but I don't know if we can go, I don't know how much we can achieve by going gently. So it's actually, that's a huge question on my mind, because I don't know what or how can solve the, and climate change makes it sound so gentle. It's really not. It's, it's climate crisis, and I don't know what can solve that. I don't think any specific system can. I think it has to do with people. It doesn't matter whether, it's democratic or any sort of religion, or it's based on individuals somehow through years of being taught to forget their surroundings, reconnecting to them and somehow finding a way just through a collective, collective unconscious. There has to be some way for people to get back in touch with how the rest of the world lives and solve it. I don't necessarily think it would be any political system or religious system that would do it.